All righty. Here we go. Welcome to Free Advice Friday. This is going to be a good one today. As my very special guest, Brigid Reale, is going to be joining me live on the stream. You can't see this, but she's in the background swearing at me right now. I can see her preview video. She hates it when I do that. Brigid Reale. She's going to be joining us live on Free Advice Friday today. So this is going to be a fun one. We want to welcome you to the broadcast. Thank you for coming and hanging out. This is going to be an opportunity for you to ask questions and get answers from Brigid all about outsourcing, which a lot of voice actors, I think, underestimate the potential of outsourcing. And I think a lot of them just assume that it is not realistic for them to be able to do outsourcing. And that is absolutely not the case. Outsourcing can be done much easier than you may think. It does not mean that you need to bring a virtual assistant on full time. It could be hiring somebody to come in and assist you with one thing, to assist with one project. It could be an hour a week. It could be 5 hours a week. And so we're going to dive into all of that. But also, maybe you're a voice actor who is getting started in your career and you're looking to make a little bit of extra money in your voiceover business, and maybe you could offer your services as a virtual assistant while you are working to grow your business. And so that's something that we'll be able to talk about as well. So Brigid is going to be taking all of your questions once we get started here. So if you do have a question, you'll be able to type that into the comments and you will be able to get those questions answered. So that is what is going on today for Free Advice Friday. So very quickly, let's just bring up a little bit about Brigid. She is the voice for every business need. Clients including Delta, Nestle, and Google. And together with two other voice actors, Lynn Norris and Miranda Ellis, Brigid is part of the founding team behind VA for VO, voiceover adjacent business services. So Brigid's website there, of course, is realvoices.com. And we'll bring up a little bit of information here about VA for VO for those of you that are interested in checking that out. And we will be talking a little bit more about that once Brigid's on with us. But there's the websites, Facebook, Instagram, vaforvo.com is the website for VA for VO. So this is the site that they have created. This is both for voice actors who are looking to hire a virtual assistant, but also for voice actors who may want to work as a virtual assistant. So like I said, we'll get a little bit more into that. And of course, there's all of Brigid's social media profiles. She's basically everywhere. You can't avoid her. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter. Like, it's impossible. You just can't miss her. So write those down, follow along, join in with the content. So those are all the different places that you can get connected to Brigid. So that is what is going on. So welcome to Free Advice Friday. Let's bring Brigid on now. Brigid Reale.
Oh, dear God. Oh, I mean, I got to say, at least that's better than the other version, because Reale is the Italian version. And I did live in Rome for 4 years. So I will accept Reale or Reale. Don't do the other one.
How do you say it in what is like Danish? What's the Danish version of it?
I don't know yet. I've only been here for a month, so I really don't know.
Okay, but, we'll get working on that. If anybody can tell us what the Danish pronunciation is of that, we'll get working on that. I really need to look into that. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Uncle Roy has told us that we have to behave. If we don't, he said he will separate us. So
yeah, whatever.
Nobody came here to watch us behave.
My security team is on backup. I'm just saying.
Your security team. I paid off your security team 2 days ago when I promised your security team ribs.
Oh no.
Pork ribs and
my
beef dino ribs.
Loyal to me, Eeyore. My security team is loyal to me.
No. I got the ribs. I already took care of all of this. I prearranged it, so that is going to be taken.
I have the heart.
So let's get started here. We can get him on the
phone and ask.
Let's go right to the first question, since we're going to have a lot of them, I suspect. So here comes the first question. This one is from Bev Standing. Hi, Brigid and Mark. Here's my question. How do you give up control? This is an amazing question because I have massive trust issues.
No, and that's a fair comment to make. And Bev, you're 100% correct. How do you give up control? Um, I'm and this comes from a person who 3 days ago, three of my very dear friends told me I have real issues with giving up control. I always tell people delegate, 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 and I'm like, and
Do as I
it is
say, not as I do.
right. I mean, you're living proof of that,
I
Eeyore. I'm
am. It's
just
true.
saying,
I
but
can't deny that.
it's but I think that in the whole game of giving, and it's not even you're not giving up control, that you're trusting the process, you're trusting your person. It's about building trust. So when you have somebody, when you hire someone, you need to have that interview with them, you need to talk with them, you need to figure out if your vibes mesh and gel, and you'll people are trust your gut. You know what I mean? Like, you get a sense of whether somebody is going to be a good person or not a good person. So there's that. Secondly, we really advocate for contracts and NDAs.
Mhm.
If you're going to bring somebody onto your team, and that's what you're building a team right now. If you don't have anybody in your, in your circle, helping you out, you're a team of one. And you're a team of one that wears a million and one hats. But you gotta, um, when you bring people onto your team, make sure that you communicate with them, explain to them what the expectations are, and get it in writing. I mean, we say that all the time with any VO work. Get it in writing,
Yeah.
And if you're really concerned about, if you're doing a lot of high profile projects and things like that, then I would say for sure, get an NDA. Get and you can look up NDAs on contracts, do a Google search for NDA contracts and things like that. It doesn't have to be something that's like, I'm going to, take your firstborn or whatever. But protect yourself, put those protections into place. And that's for you and for them, so that everything is laid out nice and clear. But again, you're not giving up control. You're trusting the process. You're building a system of trust.
See, for me, I know it's this idea, which is not. I mean, my whole thing is I can do it better and I can do it faster myself. So why am I even bothering to give it to somebody else? Which maybe there's an element of truth to that, but there's also then an element of responsibility on myself that, hey, look, if I train people how to do this the right way, then there's no reason why, if I find the right people, they shouldn't be able to do it just as quickly, just as efficiently, if not more quickly and more efficiently. But I think that's the thing for me when I say I have trust issues. It's more about
Mhm.
I can just do this quicker and faster and get it done with, and I don't want to spend the time teaching somebody else. So how do we get past that?
So, well, there's certain things that for a fact only you can do,
Mhm.
right? Only you can voice your product.
Yep.
Only you can actually take the coaching from a coach. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that only you can do. And then there's things that other people can do. And we have a whole process for that. We actually have a webinar, we have quite a few webinars actually, but in one of our courses, we actually do talk about, take the things that are not high value, because everything else that you specifically do not have to do, right? Like, you don't have to necessarily do the social media, you don't necessarily have to do the audio editing, you don't necessarily have to do the lead generation and things like that. You could pass that off to someone.
Mhm.
Then it becomes a matter of, what are things you need to understand, your skills. You need to understand things that you like to do. You need to understand things that you're willing to learn and things that you're not willing to learn. And then you need to graph it all out. And we actually have that in one of our courses, that we talk about, that, take it all, figure it all out, and then place it into a system and figure out. And basically, the things that you love to do, that are quick for you to do, and that you enjoy doing, that is not a problem for you, and that, again, maybe you do them faster. Maybe you're just like, it's way faster for me to do this and to explain it to somebody else. Maybe those are the things that you take on. But the other things, the things that you'd have to learn how to do it, or and I don't know if I like it so much. Like I'm good at it, but I don't know. Those are the things that you start to like pass off to somebody else, because ultimately the whole purpose of this is to free up your time
Yep.
and to make money, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all in this to make money.
Yep.
So
I've heard it said that too, that the tasks, think about the tasks that you're really good at, but you don't necessarily have to do, because if it's something that you're really good at, odds are it's going to be much easier for you to teach somebody else how to do.
Sure.
And so there's something to that as well.
Absolutely.
So along with that line of questioning, here's one from Julia. It says, if you had to pick, what are the top 2 or 3 freelance jobs that a busy mom should hire for her voiceover business? So what are we outsourcing? I mean, lead generation is obviously one of them. What are some of the other things that we're looking to outsource, or we should be looking to outsource?
So it's interesting. I saw this question in the chat because I can see the chat. I didn't know if I could see the chat, but I can see the chat. And the thing that I keyed in on was busy mom. So it's not always voiceover related, right? Yeah. Like here's the other things you got to think about. Like get somebody to come and clean your house. If you got an issue with like picking up your kids, like figure out, that kind of stuff. Or if, maybe a meal prep service or something like that. Yep. But voiceover specific. I think some of the things that I have personally run into for my own business and things that I have seen from other people is lead generation, audio editing for long form. I do not recommend anybody hire an audio editor for auditions in short form. That's a waste of time and money. Yep. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Yep. And not to mention, you need to know how to do that stuff yourself. That's another thing that we also talk about in our all about outsourcing. I talk for a living course, is that even though you are delegating these are tasks you should know how to do yourself. So if you're a busy mom, busy dad, and you have kids in the home, whatever, first off, think about outsourcing anything that has to do with your kids, your dogs, and your cooking and your cleaning. Like get those off your plate as quickly as you can, because I know for a fact, I mean, I got 2 kids, one's in college and the other one's grown ass individual. And, but I've got 3 dogs that are like toddlers. So I found a doggy daycare. Well, when I was in Portugal, I found a doggy daycare, that kind of stuff. But as far as that goes, lead generation, audio, long form editing, social media. A lot of people aren't necessarily comfortable with social media. I think that's a very valuable sort of thing. Some people just need someone to kind of help them through it. Also consider, some people want to have a full-blown virtual assistant to do things. Some people want someone just to hire on a case-by-case basis. So one of the tasks that I've had my assistants do in the past is go through and take care of my Christmas presents for my clients. Like last year, I sent this great little gift to people, and God bless my assistant because she took care of it all. It was wonderful.
That's something that there's a book that I'm reading right now that's like wealth hacks to learn from millionaires and billionaires or something like that, right? And that's one of the things I think when we come to outsourcing and the idea of working with a virtual assistant, I think sometimes our scope is too small. Okay, well, if I get somebody to do lead generation, or I get somebody to help me with editing or something like that, but having somebody come in and do your cleaning, having somebody do your laundry, having somebody come and mow your lawn, all of these different types of things, I think are absolutely forms of outsourcing that we can all be thinking about.
100%. And keep in mind, I mean, while yes, we are VA for VO. So whether you want to earn money and become a voiceover adjacent, by the way, VA does not stand for virtual assistant. VA stands for voiceover adjacent in our world. And that is because it encompasses any and all of the adjacent skills and services that you have to do for your business. It's not just limited to virtual assistant. It could be lead generation. It could be copywriting for your website. It could be video production. It could be audio editing. It could be like any number of things. Like there's so many different things that you could be doing. But that also being said, we talk a lot about the fact that you're not just outsourcing to people, you could be outsourcing to systems. So think about the systems that you could be automating.
Get your invoicing software that sets up automatic reminders for invoices that need to be paid, CRMs that set up automatic reminders for time to follow up, and different things like that make a difference too.
And for VAs, like if you're truly a virtual assistant, like my assistant, my last assistant, she used to set up our week because I paid her weekly, and she actually set that. It was a set amount, or I paid her for 5 hours, and it was a set amount, and she set it up as an automatic every week. It was the invoice went out. And then it just got charged. And so again, if you're a VA, that's another thing you can think about doing is automating those, if you're doing voiceover adjacent services for someone, set those kinds of systems up for yourself. Anything to make your life easier.
Absolutely. Here's another question for you. This one from Briscoe VO. When you hire someone, how much time does it generally take to teach someone what VO artists need from a lead generator?
I have personal experience on both sides of this. Okay, let me start by saying so far on VA for VO, all of the voiceover adjacent resource providers that we have are actually voice actors. So they know the industry. They know, you don't have to teach them basic nomenclature. You don't have to teach them all the foundational kind of, this and that's. But my very first assistant was one of my son's best friends from high school. And he was a law student at the time. And I talk about this on the podcast episode that I did with you, Lucas. And funny enough, a week after that podcast episode aired, he had to quit on me. Not because
probably
of the podcast
you scared him away, didn't you?
I scared him away. No,
you're such a hard boss to work for. I'm sure that's
so mean to him. He said that he just had to focus on school. So I lost it. Like you jinxed me. You just saying you cursed my business.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
just
blame it on me.
There, Eeyore. It's your fault.
Whatever.
It's your fault. Your fault, Eeyore. But he didn't know anything about voiceover at the time. Thankfully, he was really motivated and he was very research oriented. So we would meet weekly and, just to do a general, hey, he would say, here's what I've done. And I would say, great, let's tweak this, let's tweak that. And then let's, talk about what I need you to do this week for me. And as the whole process went along, and usually we met for about half an hour to an hour. I'm very pedantic. So, so I would explain everything to him and he was very quick on the go. He learned things very quickly. You also, because he was not voiceover related, you were very generous in allowing him to watch the Nimble course that I had purchased just so that he understood it from a voiceover perspective. I'm not, again, he wasn't a voice actor, but so that helped him as well to understand the process. It was pretty quick. So
there is something to be said for when you're hiring within the industry. I mean, that definitely is going to reduce the learning curve for a lot of the different things that you've got to teach. All right, here's another one. This 100%. Is from Jennifer. Would you hire a VA to go through and create your CRM from your contacts?
Absolutely. I gave both of my assistants the keys to the kingdom on my LinkedIn. God bless. If I didn't have Lucas, the first thing I had him do was go through and look through all of my LinkedIn contact connections and put them into the CRM. And then I also gave him, the keys to the kingdom on the email side. Again, I've known Lucas since he was 12 years old, so I know he's not going to take, and he was also going to he is a lawyer now. So he's not going to take my stuff and run with it. You have to definitely create a system of trust and interview people and, and have constant communication. You're building a relationship. This is a relationship that you are building, whether you are the VA or you are the VO. You're building a relationship. By the way, I just want to note we're at 66 people. So I'm just.
And that's because Brad just jumped in to push you over the number.
My security team brought me to 66.
But that's a tie. That's not a win.
Hey, you know what? If nothing else, I tied with my security team. I'm just saying.
There you go.
Head of security. So, I think that Yeah, I'm with you, Jennifer. You said that it scares you, that CRMs scare you. And it is a scary thing. Like there are certain aspects of your business that are like, I shouldn't say scary, but they're intimidating because you're not entirely sure how to use them. So one of the things that I had barely set up my Nimble, I had Lucas set up the Nimble like even more, thoroughly after watching the course, and he went through and pulled everything down and put it all into a nice, beautiful thing. And then, my next assistant just kept that going, and then she switched me over to HubSpot. So, and she did all of the work on that. That was amazing. So yeah, 100%.
So for those of you that are jumping in, we're talking outsourcing and working with a virtual assistant. If you do have questions for Brigid that you would like to ask related to outsourcing or hiring a virtual assistant, feel free to type those questions in the chat. If you do want to find out a little bit more about VA for VO, there's the Facebook, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, and the primary website. So this is a service that Brigid has created along with Lynn and Miranda to either help voice actors who are looking to hire a virtual assistant or for voice actors who are interested in becoming a virtual assistant and working in that space. That's the website that you can check out. There's one thing I want to define. So let's do this so that maybe it makes it easier or not. But there's working with a virtual assistant and there's outsourcing, and those two things can be related, but they can also be very different. So
thank you.
Give us a breakdown of VA and outsourcing.
I'm giving you a giant virtual hug from Miranda right now, because everybody seems to think that if you have a lead generator, that you have a virtual assistant. Mm-hmm. No, you have a lead generator. So a virtual assistant can and does take on many hats, not unlike a voice actor, by the way. At 68 people, just throwing that out. Nothing.
What did you call your family?
I did. Look, I got peoples. I'm just saying. I got peoples. My peoples love me. I'm just saying.
We'll find out about it. I'm digging into this afterwards. How many people did you pay? How much money did you pay them to come and join the broadcast?
Checks are in the mail, man. You didn't say how I had to get it. You just said I had to beat it, man. Just saying.
It's true. It's true. All right. Outsourcing anyway, virtual assistants.
Back to the outsource. So okay, a virtual assistant could take on many hats. They could be your person who does graphic design for you. They could be a person who, if they have the skills for it, they could be doing audio editing. They could be a graphic designer. They could be a video producer. They could be doing lead generation. They could be scheduling for you. They could, if you're a coach, they could be writing lesson plans for you. They could be handling, emails, the initial emails when you're sending out, once you get those leads, sending out that initial email to those contacts, those potential leads. They could be doing anything and everything, right? There's so many different things. However, a lead generator, their only job is to find you leads. So, a lead generator just finds you leads. A social media director only finds you social media. Only finds you, tries again, only handles your social media. Yes. A copywriter only does that. So you need to make sure that you kind of define that. And that's one thing that we ask when you come to our website is, what is it you're looking for? Do you want someone who's going to handle it all? Or do you want someone who's only going to handle your audio editing, is only going to handle lead generation, or do you need somebody, we've had a couple of people who have signed up, a few voice actors who have signed up, and they've been like, I'm a coach and I do this and I do that, and I'm really busy and I just need a little bit of everything. And then I've had other people who have said, I just need lead generation.
Yep.
And we've got both sides of that. And that's what we do. We also, and the other side of that is that, from a VA side, we get people who are like, I do everything. And then you've got people who are like, really what I want to focus on is just these three things. Mm-hmm. I just want to focus on social media for someone. I just want to focus on audio editing for someone. I just want to focus on this. These are my strengths. And sometimes people, on both sides of the form, when you come to our website, we'll ask you to fill out a form. Whether you are VO or VA, we say, fill out this form, and we say, from the VA side, tell us all the things that you can do. And we have a long list of, software and applications that you may or may not know. And we say, be honest with us. Tell us your experience with it from 0 to 4. Give us your experience with this. It is a process. I'm not going to lie. You come to our website, you're going to spend a little bit of time filling out the form. You know this firsthand, Mark. But from that, we get a real sense of where your comfort level is. Yeah. And then, and then from there, like, and on the VO side, we say, what is it that you want? Like, tell us all the things that you want. And then when we, also ask people, what are your top 3 priorities, whether you're VA or VO? Like, what are your 3 top priorities? So we really want people to be honest with us so that we can hopefully match you with somebody who needs that, whether you're on the VA side or the VO side, that we can match you with somebody who fits what you're able to offer or what you need. We play Tinder.
Yep. Outsourcing for me was project by project basis, right? When I was starting my podcast, I had 2 choices. I could spend 10 hours watching YouTube videos trying to figure out how to get it distributed to all of the platforms, or I could hire somebody and pay them for an hour or 2, and they got it all done for me. So I hired somebody and got them to do it for me. Some of the free PDFs, like the ebooks and stuff like that I've handed out in the past, I can sit down and do those and spend 10 or 15 hours working on them, or I can just hire somebody to do that thing for me. And so project to project basis, whereas virtual assistant, somebody who's probably working with you more consistently, maybe it's 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week or something like that. Here's a good question from Gary. Shouldn't outsourcing be those things that aren't directly income producing, such as bookkeeping, invoicing, etc.?
So that's a very good question. And here's the thing with us. The 2 areas that we specifically do not, the 2 offerings that we don't offer, okay, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, are legal advice and financial advice. So we don't have a course on our site for invoicing and bookkeeping, and we don't have anything related to legal aspects, mainly because those are touchy areas.
Yep.
Those are delicate areas. And I personally have never handed off the bookkeeping and invoicing to either of my assistants. Not because I think they're bad people, not in any way, shape, or form.
Trust issues.
My comfort level isn't there.
Trust issues.
It's a comfort level thing for me.
It really is.
I just I met with a financial advisor, a couple of weeks ago. Steve and I just started working with Kelly Labica, who is Vince Labica's wife, and she's a financial advisor, and she has us filling out this form, and I've been terrified to write down numbers for her.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yep, I hear you.
Full transparency, it's because I'm like, oh God, admitting any of that is just weird, But no, in answer, the overall piece of it is, could you hand that off to somebody? If you feel comfortable doing that, then, yeah, you could. We're not going to necessarily hook you up with somebody because that's not something that we offer. However, we got all these other things. There's so many other things in your business that you can hand off that will free up your time. It's ultimately about freeing up your time and allowing you to become more efficient and more productive.
I think, to go along with the question, should you outsource things that aren't directly income producing? I think the math equation that I would be looking at is, can I earn more by hiring somebody? So if your time is valued at $50 an hour, $100 an hour, $250 an hour, because you're working consistently doing voiceover, if you could be making $250 an hour, why are you doing a task that you could be outsourcing for $10 or $15 or $25 an hour? And so I think that's the other side of the question. But that brings up another very interesting question.
Can I talk?
Yes,
for a second? Okay.
Go ahead, and then we'll bring up this other question.
That we talk about this is something that we talk about all the time in all of our courses, whether you are on the VA side or the VO side, and that is the return on investment calculation. It's so valuable. It is so important. And I know Lynn's in the room right now, so I'm going to ask her to put it up there. But essentially, and I had to write it down because I always get it wrong when I try and explain it to somebody, because Lynn Lynn taught me, I teach other people. Okay, the return on investment calculation is you take the current value of something and you subtract from that the original cost, and then you divide that number by the original cost. So let's take, for example, that you hired somebody to do lead generation for you. And Lynn, I hope you don't mind that I'm giving this example because it is in one of our courses, but we also have many more. But anyway, so let's take, for example, that you hired somebody to do lead generation and you spent, you had somebody do like 5 hours of lead generation for you, right? I can't talk about rates. I cannot, I'm legally, Rob Sealampalia will kill me if I talk about rates because we are not an agency and we are, we're, and if we do that, the government will come after us and the IRS will come after us and my husband will lose his job at the embassy and I can't have that. But anyway, so let's just say you spend $40 on lead generation. I'm going to throw that out there as an arbitrary number that I have heard people have done, but could be, whatever. So anyway, you spend $40 on lead generation, right? And that person gets you a whole list of people's, names in 5 hours. You probably have a better feel for how many names you might get from 5 hours of lead generation. But from that, you get one person, like one explainer company who decides to give you a $300 explainer video to narrate. That's possible. It's a possibility,
absolutely.
Right? So just from that one job, right? You spent $40. You were able to get a job from a company for $300. So you're going to take that number, $300. You're going to that's your current value. The current value is $300. You're going to subtract the original cost, what you spent, which is the $40, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to give you $260. And then you're going to divide that number by $40. And that is you basically 6.5x your number, your investment. You made 650% more money by outsourcing that. And we have lots of examples in that when we talk in our courses. Like we do that all day long. We talk about the return on investment. And from a VA side, we also talk about the time value, because you can also use that same calculation to figure out if the time that you're putting in, like when we can't. So I saw in the questions that Susan asked about asked about rates. And again, we can't talk about rates. I can't say how much, Susan, not for any other reason. I am legally not allowed to tell you how much that cost me to hire my virtual assistant for 5 hours. I'm not legally allowed.
I will answer part of that question because I'm not affiliated to anything. I have hired people for $8 to $10 an hour, and I have hired people for $25 and $35 an hour. And I think part of it just depends on where they're located, for one thing. The level of skill that they have, the level of service that they're providing. So there's not one answer to how much you're going to pay a virtual assistant, because somebody that's doing lead generation is not probably going to ask or command as much money as somebody who is doing editing for you, as an example. So that's a tough question to answer on the rate side of things.
It is. Also, the other thing you want to consider is some people want to do a barter and trade. Yep. So not only do I hire people, I've been hired. I've been hired as a video producer. I've been hired as a social media director. And there are times that I have traded for that, but you got to be careful and make sure that you're doing a fair market trade so that you're not putting out more effort or, paying more money than what you're getting, like that it is a fair market trade for what you're doing. So that's the other thing. Secondly, we don't want to limit what you can possibly do with that number, you maybe one person is really comfortable with, earning a certain rate and somebody else wants a lot more. Me personally, so as I said about the return on investment calculation, when I was doing video production work, I used to charge a certain number for doing video production, doing demo videos. And I would do individual spots for all of those demo videos. And they were basically spots that could go on TV. Like that's one of my side hustles. That's one of my, voiceover adjacent streams of income is I do video production. And I make sure that they are like really, really good spots. Well, they take me a long time because I'm, and I had the rate that I was making, I found myself just getting like one, because it takes me about 24 studio hours, not 24 hours, but like, it's not like you can give me something and I'll get it back to you in 24 hours. It literally took me 24 studio hours. I did I was so bitter about it. Lynn made me do the calculation. And I turned around, and when I realized I was losing so much money compared to the time that I could be doing voiceover work, that I had to reevaluate what I was charging for that. And I actually, because of that, I was able to come up with something that lent itself to voice actors as well. It helped me to improve my services. So my clients, and that's a thing as voiceover adjacent service providers, you're not subordinate to someone. It is a client, it's a business to business relationship.
Yeah.
They're your clients.
Yep.
They are, and you are their clients. So
I can say, as somebody who has outsourced multiple projects over the years as well, the scariest part is the initial investment, because you have to spend money, right? So whether I've hired someone for $50 for one simple quick project, or I've ended up paying someone hundreds of dollars for a longer project, the scary part is always that initial output. But I can say from my experience, there's not yet been one thing that I've outsourced that I did not return a positive investment on, because of the amount of time that I gain back to do the things that only I can do. We'll take one more question. And I think this is going to be a good one, because I think it's one that comes up a lot. I'm starting over. Do you recommend that I outsource right away, or start building a customer list first and outsource once I have income? It's about time scale, right? Part of it is about time scale. Yeah, it really is. Right? If you're starting out full-time hours to give to this, you're in a different situation than if you're starting out with a day job and you've only got a couple hours that you can give to this. Then maybe outsourcing some stuff up front, I think maybe it makes sense if it's in the budget. But
well, I'm gonna turn that one on its head, and tell me the name of the person who wrote that, because you took
that was Paul.
Oh, dang it. Paul, the other thing I want you to think about is, do you have skills that you could lend to another voiceover's business, a voice actor's business? Because that's the other side of it, is that, like, while you're building up, your customer list and things like that, you're going to want to be able to like earn money. And do you have skills that you could lend to somebody else's business? Because there's so much advantage to becoming a voiceover adjacent service provider. I mean, I'm not saying this to be like stuck up and braggadocious here, but like, I'm a successful voice actor. I still have multiple streams of income. I still do video production. I still work for the JMC Demos team. I still do like all these other things. And, I make good money as a voice actor.
Yep.
So think about that side of it too. And not just about like, should I outsource? Could you be a source of outsourcing? Do you have skills that you could lend to somebody else's business? And, that's I think that's also the valuable piece. What are you good at? What are you not good at? What are the things that you're like, I am never like, there's no need for me to learn how to do video production. So there's no, like, I will never have that need. I have no interest in doing that. So why am I, when am I ever going to use that? Maybe that's something that you outsource to somebody,
Yep.
It really kind of depends on where your strengths and weaknesses are.
I think it's a good way to learn. You should get
a virtualist. Oh, it's a wonderful way to learn. And if I can just plug us a little bit, whether you are VA or you are VO and when you join our community, if you're a VO, you get 2, and you're about to get 3 courses that are going to help you to be really efficient with working with your VA, your voiceover adjacent resource provider. So we want you to be successful. So we are going to teach you like, the basics of like, developing that relationship. We're going to talk about, things like, how to improve and really maximize the efficiency of your audio editing. We're going to talk about organizational skills. If you're joining as a VO and you have certain skills, but you don't have all of the skills that you want, maybe you want to learn about Canva. Maybe you want to learn about CRMs. Maybe you want to learn about just my brain has just melted out of my ears. Like we have 7 courses. We have 7 courses for VAs. Like I'm sure Lynn's going to be like in the chat going, we have this and we have this. And damn it, Brigid, how do you not know this off the top of your head? But I don't.
So much pressure. It's like being on live television.
Oh my God. It's 7:40 p.m. for me. So, again.
On a Friday, no less.
On a Friday night. I have my glass of wine already. So we have courses to teach you things and it's basic courses. Like, so when you join us, you're not just, I'm gonna throw it out there. You're gonna look at the website if you're a VA looking to become a voiceover adjacent resource provider, and you're gonna go, oh my goodness, it's like joining a pay to play. And just understand, for that money, you get 7 courses to teach you the basics that we created. We have created 7 courses for you. So you're getting that. You get access to the community. There's a private Facebook group for you that you will be joining. And then also we will give you the opportunity to connect with, to connect you with voice actors looking to outsource their business. And I can say, for that money, I personally have paid virtual assistants that investment in 2.5 weeks. Just going to throw that out there. I know, and I've also paid audio editors with like one big, massive medical narration job, and on the other side, like I said, voice actors who are looking to outsource their business, we want to support you in that. So, I had I've reached out to a bunch of people who are on our platform already. And I've said, like, how has it been? And I've had, a few people have been like, it's been like the courses were like worth the money alone because, we guide you. We want it to be successful for you. We want you to have, we want you to learn from our experiences and our mistakes. Honestly, this was built out of our mistakes. Like all the things I learned, becoming a voiceover adjacent provider to people and outsourcing to other people. All those courses are created from that,
So the bottom line is there's a lot of really cool opportunities. There's a lot of training opportunities, and there's opportunities on both sides. So Brigid, thank you.
And we have already connected people. In case anybody is wondering, have we connected people? Abso-smurfly. We have absolutely connected people already. And we have people who are looking. So if you want to outsource your business, or you want to become you want to create an additional stream of income. And let me just say, for your membership, like if we connect you with someone, we're not taking a commission off of that. Like that's not our jam in any way, shape, or form. Like we're not trying to do that. We want, if we connect you, we connect you and you guys do the interviewing, you guys do the hiring, you guys figure out the rates. God bless. We're here to support.
So
that's where we are.
We've done our best to get to as many questions as possible. I know there's still some questions that are in the chat. So if you do have additional questions that you would like to answer, if we did not get to your question today, I do apologize. Here are the social media platforms. You can jump over to Facebook and maybe post the question in a Facebook group or send an Instagram message. The website is there, vaforvo.com. So any questions that you do have about any of this, don't hesitate to go and ask those questions. And I'm sure that Brigid, Lynn, and Miranda are all waiting and ready to answer any questions that you have about the service. I have this on my phone
already. I'm sitting here with it on my phone.
She's waiting. She's literally sitting there waiting for the questions to come in. So Brigid, thank you so much for taking some time.
Answering things.
And yes, Lynn has been doing a great job in the chat as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. And we are actually going to be doing a podcast in a few weeks as well. And so we'll dive a little bit deeper, more into the outsourcing and virtual assistant story there as well. But Brigid, thank you.
We're going to be doing a YouTube thing for you as well. We're going to
have all kinds of opportunities for you to learn and ask more questions as well. So,
and Mark, I just want to say,
okay, say
69 people.
What? No, it says 67.
It was 69.
I don't know if I believe you. I'll have to go back and check the analytics after.
69 people. Yeah, there were.
All right. That's enough. I'm so done with you. Go finish your drink.
You love me.
I do.
I'm going to finish my drink.
Thank you, Brigid.
Thank you, Eeyore.
See you later.
Later.
All right, guys. So again, if we didn't get to all of your questions, I do apologize. We certainly did our best to answer as many questions as we possibly could. But now that we are done with that side, I do want to let you know that the floor is open if you have questions that you would like to ask that are related to the business and marketing side of voiceover, because I am here to absolutely answer those questions as well. So feel free, again, type your questions into the chat. I will keep my eyes out for them. I'm going to hang out here for a little while longer and answer questions that are popping up in the group. Again, check out the website, va4vo.com. That is the website. And again, Brigid, Lynn, Miranda, they're all there. They're all ready. They're all going to answer questions for you if you've got questions that you would like to ask and get answered. So let's see. If you've got general business and marketing questions you want to answer or get asked and answered, this is your opportunity now. So feel free to type those into the comments. I'm watching the comments to see them. I do apologize if we didn't get to your question for the virtual assistant side. There's a lot of questions coming in. There's only so much that we can do, only so many things that we can get to. I also want to quickly remind you, new podcast episode is out, and it is a good one. For those of you that haven't had a chance to check that out yet, there is so much more to SOVAS than just the Voice Arts Awards, which is the main thing that we know about is the Voice Arts Awards. But there's a lot more going on than just the Voice Arts Awards. That's voiceover conferences put on by SOVAS as well. And so I had the opportunity to sit down and have a conversation with Rudy Gaskins, who is the CEO of SOVAS, and he answered a lot of the questions that I had to ask. And so if you'd check out that episode of the podcast, that one's available now at VOpreneur.com or wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. So check that out. Sharon says, oh yeah, let's touch on this very quickly. We saw the sneak peek announcement for the 12 days. Yes, that's right. The 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas. The incredibly popular, exciting, and fun contest is coming back for 2022. At this point, there are no sign-up details, so don't ask. We're not there yet. I am in the process now of confirming prizes for the 12 VO gifts of Christmas. I have my list put together. I've had some conversations already. I did confirm that the very first of my Santa's Little Helpers this year, none other than the legend Joe Cipriano. I was so excited. In fact, Joe reached out to me last year and was like, dude, I want to be in this. You got to let me be in this. And so I promised him that he was going to be the first person that I asked for 2022. So I can confirm that the first donor for the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas is Joe Cipriano. Again, more details on that will be shared as the days and weeks draw nearer to Christmas, but it is coming. The 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas, they are coming, and they are going to be good. So keep your eye out for that. Here's a question from Susan. She says, what's the boo going to be for Halloween? What about your costume? I'm going to go out like this. I'm going to go out dressed as a dad who works as a voice actor. Not quite sure what the boo is going to be yet, but I can confirm that I am my 10-year-old daughter's hero because she was struggling to come up with an idea for a Halloween costume. So I ordered her a set of scrubs because she wants to be a vet when she gets older. So I ordered her a set of scrubs, and then Mommy customized those scrubs with her Cricut machine to put, Dr. Lily's vet clinic or whatever it is on it. And so she's very excited about that. But there you go. That's no report yet on the boo. We have not determined what she is going to be. Question for Briscoe VO. Hey, Mark, is there a milestone that you can say is an indicator that it's time for you to go full time? I think there's a lot of different ways that you can look at this question, but I do think that one of the things that you have to look at is your financial situation. So one of the things that I would caution you about, let's just say, for argument's sake and for easy numbers, let's say you make $50,000 a year. So part of your thinking may be that I need to get my voiceover business to $50,000 a year before I'm in a position where I can quit my day job and start doing voiceover full time. Here's the flaw with that thinking. If you're making $50,000 a year in your day job, and then you get your voiceover business to $50,000, now you're making $100,000 a year. And so then when you quit your day job, all of a sudden it's going to feel like a massive hit to your income. So what I would encourage you with is if you're making $50,000 in your day job, but maybe you only need $30,000 to survive, right? That's going to cover your expenses and keep your head above water. Then as your voiceover business starts to get closer to that number, that's where I think you could start looking at, do I scale back my day job? Maybe they'll give you the option to go part-time or work remotely, or do I quit my day job outright? And so I think that's one of the things that you have to look at is just the math and the finances and the budgets for it. Or you can do what I do, which is I just got canned. My radio job came to an end. I got corporately downsized. And so then I had absolutely no choice but to go full-time in voiceover and find a way to make it work. And so that's certainly the other option, although I will say that option is definitely a much more stressful option and not necessarily the one that I would recommend. But I definitely think that doing the math is one of the things that I would want to be looking at. Guys, I want to remind you, I got a brand new webinar that's going to be coming up on November 15th. It's called 10 Marketing Commandments for the VOpreneur. This is designed to be an introductory webinar that I wanted to make it accessible to as many people as possible. And so it's a $47 webinar. It's going to last about an hour. And I'm just going to dive into some of the really basic fundamental principles of marketing your voiceover business that I think you need to understand. And that's going to cover subjects ranging from email marketing to social media marketing to just general marketing as well. And so if you don't really understand marketing, or if you know you need to do it, but you don't really know what it means to do marketing, if you just don't have a clue where to begin with any of it, I think this might be a really good webinar for you to sign up for. So again, it's happening live November 15th at 7 o'clock Eastern time. It's called 10 Marketing Commandments for the VOpreneur. Details on that, if you would like to sign up, it's available at marcscottcoaching.com. marcscottcoaching.com. You can head over there. You can sign up. You can reserve your seat. I think it's going to be a really great webinar. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to teach that webinar. So check it out, marcscottcoaching.com, and you're looking for 10 Marketing Commandments for the VOpreneur. Again, if you've got questions that you would like to ask, this is your opportunity to get those questions asked and answered on Free Advice Friday. I'm still going to hang out here for a little bit, so don't be shy. If there's something you want to ask, business and marketing related questions that you would like to dive into, type those into the comments. I am keeping an eye out, and I'm happy to answer any questions that I can. Let's see. Let me scroll through the chat, see what's going on. Brigid's still hanging out. Uncle Roy's here, of course. Susan Bernard hanging out. Susan Holman is here. Welcome. Julia's still hanging out. Great to have you here. Sharon's there. Jennifer, Miranda, Paul, great to have you here. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you for signing in. Thank you for the questions that you asked as well. I hope that was very helpful for you and that you got some of your questions answered. And, check out the website at vaforvo.com. Absolutely. And again, whether you are looking to hire a virtual assistant or if you are looking to get an opportunity to work as a virtual assistant, I definitely think that you should check out the website. Let's see. While we're talking Free Advice Friday, by the way, I got another good one coming up for you next week. Chris Tester is going to be joining me for Free Advice Friday next week, so that's going to be a fun one. Chris is going to be joining me to talk all about TikTok. So if you have questions about TikTok, if you are trying to figure out how to use TikTok, how to incorporate TikTok into your voiceover business, if you've maybe been on the platform, but you still haven't really figured it out, if there's things that you want to know or understand, you should definitely make sure to make a point of checking out Free Advice Friday next week with Chris Tester. Chris has done an amazing job on the platform. He has amassed quite the following. He's getting a ton of views on his videos. He's getting a ton of likes on his videos, and he's booked multiple jobs from TikTok as a result of the videos that he's creating. So I think that he's going to have a lot to offer to anybody that is thinking about using TikTok for their voiceover business. So there's the details on that one. We're going to be live next Friday, November 4th at 1 o'clock Eastern with Chris Tester. So anything you want to know about TikTok, make sure you make a point of subscribing to the YouTube channel. You can do that while you're here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you also go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, you'll see the link for this broadcast for next week, and you can click the button and choose to get notified, so that way you do not have to miss out if you want to make sure that you are here for Free Advice Friday next week. All right, let's see. Brad says, my Halloween costume this year is going to be a barbecued rib eater. There you go. That sounds like a good costume. Nice. Who else is here? What else do you guys want to know? What else do you want to talk about? Been missing this for quite a bit. It's good to hear you, says Karen. Well, thank you, Karen, for joining us on the broadcast. It's good to have you here. Let's see. What else is going on? Laura says, just joined in. Looking forward to watching the replay. And guys, by the way, if you did jump in late, I do publish the replay. And when this session is done, I will actually go through and I will add chapter markers to the video. And so those chapter markers, I link them straight to specific questions that have been answered in the broadcast. And so that's an opportunity for you to, maybe you don't want to go back and watch the whole entire thing. Maybe you don't have time to watch the whole entire thing, which is certainly understandable. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got stuff going on. At the very least, you could scroll through the chapter markers. You can see some of the specific questions that have been answered, and then you have the opportunity to jump right to that part of the broadcast and see what the answers were to those questions. So I will be going through and doing that after the fact. Again, if you've got a question that you would like to ask business and marketing related, don't be shy. Feel free to type it into the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. I'm keeping an eye out for those comments. I can hang around for a couple of more minutes, and certainly anything business and marketing related, I'm happy to talk to you about. Don't be shy. Let's see. What else is going on here? Check out the new podcast with Rudy. That was a good episode. Some good stuff coming up on the podcast as well, guys. A reminder that we've got some good episodes coming up in November. I'm going to be talking with Brad Newman about how to keep your email out of spam. I'm going to be talking to Reed Montague about protecting your business from cybersecurity threats. I had an amazing interview with Bonnie Marie Williams the other night, and that one's coming up here in a few weeks. We're going to be talking about how to take the fear out of social media. And what else have we got going on? VA for VO is going to be on at the end of November, and we're going to be talking more about outsourcing and working with a virtual assistant. Also want to remind you about the new free download that I offer on my website, so check that one out, marcscottcoaching.com/20 video ideas. And it is exactly what it says it is. 20 different video ideas for Instagram and TikTok. I do think that video is where it's at today. I think that you should be incorporating video into your marketing strategies. And I think that incorporating video into your marketing strategies is actually easier than you probably realize. There are so many different things that you can do to have fun on these platforms. So check that out at marcscottcoaching.com/20 video ideas. You can download that free resource. All right, let's see. Here's a question. For those who are beginning their DIY personal branding journey, do you have any advice or tips to take care of or consider? One thing that I would suggest, a relatively affordable way to give yourself some really good guidance on your branding. Celia Siegel has written a book called Voiceover Achiever. And Celia is unquestionably the most respected branding expert in our industry. And so I think that going over to Amazon and picking up that book from Celia Siegel, absolutely, that's going to help you to ask the right questions and think about the right things that you need to be considering when you're putting together your personal brand. And certainly it's an affordable way to do it. All right, let's see. Here's a question from Maria. It says, hey, Mark, how do you keep on top of current trends? It's not easy, but a lot of it just comes from spending time on social media. I can see what people are talking about. I can see what's happening. And so that's one of the ways that I keep on top of trends. I pay attention, specifically voiceover related. I pay attention to the things that people are talking about in voiceover groups. I pay attention to the auditions that I'm seeing from my agents, from the directions that are being asked for in those auditions. That's another really easy way to stay on top of trends. I read I subscribe to Apple News Plus. I read probably a dozen different magazines every month, which is another way that I'm able to keep up on top of everything that's going on and keeping on top of trends. And it can be overwhelming. It's absolutely a lot of information. to take in, but it also helps me to stay up to date with what is going on. All right, here's a question. Paul says, I already have the voiceover marketing playbook, but like many people, I'm a little overwhelmed by it all. Is the 10 Commandments course still useful for me? I think if you've got playbook, I don't know that you would necessarily need that 10 Commandments course. And not to say that it covers off the same stuff, but I think that enough of the foundational information that you need is in playbook already. So I do think that it's just a matter of taking playbook just a module at a time, which is one of the reasons why it's broken up the way that it's broken up, so that it can be a little bit more easily digestible. So I would encourage you just to keep working your way through playbook. Don says, to piggyback on the TikTok aspect, Mark, what's your opinion on video demos? I think everybody should have video versions of their demos. I don't think they need to be super fancy. I don't think they need to be fully produced. I think you can do fully produced video versions of your demos, but I don't think that you should let that stop you from doing video versions of your demos. So I think that you can absolutely go to a website like headliner.app as an example. If you go to headliner.app, you can create basic free video versions of your demos. There it is, headliner.app. Create a basic free video version of your demo. And what I would actually encourage you is to create a video version of each individual clip on your demo, because that gives you even more content and it allows you to market it more specifically, because you can market each clip based on the style of read that is in that clip. And so I think with platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts now becoming more popular, obviously Facebook is putting a ton of pressure on video. LinkedIn gives more organic reach to video. We've learned this as well. So I think there's an argument to be made on any of these social media platforms. The one thing I would encourage you with is, if you are going to do video, and you should be doing video, just make sure that you are formatting that video for the appropriate platform. So what I mean by that is, if you're posting it to Instagram Reels or TikTok, make sure that it's the upright, portrait mode, where it's like this by this, right? As opposed to if you were going to post it on LinkedIn or Facebook or on YouTube, where it's the landscape mode, which is, basically what you're looking at right now. So I think that's the one key with video versions of your demos. And the nice thing about a site like Headliner, or even Canva lets you do video versions of your demos. You can absolutely do one version and then resize it to the different formats, which I think makes it a really easy way to do it. And that's assuming you want to do it yourself. Otherwise, absolutely, that is also something that you could outsource and have done too. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Again, guys, just one quick reminder. I got to jump off here soon because I've got a voiceover session I got to do this afternoon. Next Friday, Chris Tester live on the broadcast. We'll be going live at 1 o'clock Eastern. Chris is going to be talking about TikTok. So if you do have questions about TikTok and how it works and how to make it work and what is going on TikTok right now, it's a platform that we should all absolutely be paying attention to. So check that out next Friday. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get notified of the broadcast. And of course, I've created an event in the VOpreneur Facebook group, and I'll be posting reminders throughout social media as well. But I'd love to be able to see you on the broadcast next Friday as we are talking about TikTok. So one final time, let me just put this up here for you. If you're interested in finding out more about VA for VO, this is all of the appropriate social media information that you need to have to look them up on Facebook, look them up on Instagram, look them up on LinkedIn. The website again is va4vo.com, and that's FOR, not the number 4, so va4vo.com. And I am sure that Brigid and Lynn and Miranda are standing by and waiting to answer all of your questions. Guys, thank you so much for joining, as always. Looking forward to doing it again next week, and looking forward to being able to slowly but surely start to reveal some more details on the 12 voiceover gifts of Christmas, which I am so excited about. I don't know that it's going to be possible to top what we did last year. I mean, that was just crazy what went on last year. I don't even remember. We gave away over $15,000 worth of prizes. It was absolutely insane, but certainly looking forward to trying. One more quick reminder too, SOVAS and the Voice Arts Awards with Rudy Gaskins is the new episode of the podcast. That, of course, is available at VOpreneur.com or wherever fine podcasts are given away for free. So check that one out. And make sure you sign up and save your spot for the new webinar coming up, 10 Marketing Commandments for the VOpreneur. Again, this is an entry-level, affordable webinar for everyone at $47. Usually my master classes are $147. So I just wanted to do something that was a little bit more accessible to everyone because I know that times are tough right now. Inflation is tough and the rising interest rates are making it tough. So you can save your seat and sign up for that one at marcscottcoaching.com. Just look for 10 Marketing Commandments for the VOpreneur. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Whatever you decide to do this weekend, have fun, stay safe, and of course, as always, you know what to do. Go find some leads.